There's a lot of things I wish I knew before becoming a UX designer, but you never really know until you actually start doing the job. I've been working as a UX and product designer for the last close to 4 years now, and I work for companies in Singapore and now currently working in a company in Australia. I've had limited experience, but today I wanted to share with you guys what I think you should consider before jumping into a career in UX design. So the first thing you have to consider is your need for creativity. When it comes to creativity, this can really depend what your idea of creativity is. Are you thinking about designing really pretty screens with no constraints and freedom to do whatever you want? I don't think UX design is exactly that. Most of the time you're designing with constraints or you're getting business requirements. So you have to learn to deal and design with those constraints, figuring out the context, and then trying to achieve business outcomes with your designs. So this takes a lot of collaboration with stakeholders, different product owners, product managers, and really understanding the problem. And know that your design will be judged by a lot of people. Keep designing until you build stakeholder trust. Then stakeholders will be quite comfortable and trust you in your decision making. But until you get that practice in and build that trust, just kind of know that your designs will be judged by a multitude of people, even outside of design. Number 2, UX design is a field where you have to do a lot of communication. In my experience, I've seen that I'm always usually in a meeting or facilitating workshops, also keeping the project going by talking to different stakeholders to explain design decisions that you've made, the rationale, what data you're using to back up that rationale. Strong communication skills are essential the higher you go. So let's say you don't like talking to people. You can always do UI design, but I feel that UI design, the scope is quite limited and the pay is less. And also there's a fear of AI taking your job.
I can change the theme really easily, and I can also make more changes.
So the third thing you should consider is that if you're really willing to be always learning, as UX design can be a pretty competitive field where you see a lot of talented designers around you, this may be kind of overwhelming as you think that you're kind of being left behind. I think this has something to do with the job market being so thin and a lot of senior designers not being able to find a job as well. This makes a lot of competition, and there's a lot of tools you have to learn outside of just your design tools, your technical, for example, Figma, Sketch, or whatever design tool you're using. You have to learn a lot of the soft skills as well and keep up with the current technology trends. For example, AI, if you're designing for Apple, you're designing for maybe their Apple Vision Pro. So there's a lot of things that you have to kind of keep up with, and it's exhausting sometimes. When you're doing research, maybe you're thinking about planning research, conducting research, synthesizing, coming up with insights based off of your research. These things are a lot, and if you want to become a UX generalist, you have to be somewhat knowledgeable about a little bit of everything. There's always going to be something new to learn. So if you're willing to learn, then I think UX is a right field for you. There's also a lot of opportunities here where you can really learn different business domains. For example, if you're working in logistics, you can learn a lot about how first mile, last mile works. Or if you're working in Web 4.0, you can learn about crypto, Bitcoin, and anything else related to blockchain technology. So what I'm trying to say here is that there's a lot of opportunities to learn as a UX designer. But if you're the type that says, hey, I just want to enjoy my 9-to-5 job, and then from there you kind of just relax, it's pretty hard because you feel like you're always going to be left behind as more and more people get into the field and the bar just becomes higher and higher. Even though I highlighted a lot of points that can seem bad or negative about the job, I really do enjoy being a UX designer and product designer, and I would never trade anything or regret anything that I've done in the past. But I only think it's fair to point out these considerations because it's really important. When you're doing something, you might as well like it. And if you're someone that doesn't like communicating, or if you can't take criticism constructively, then I don't think UX design is maybe the right thing for you. Perhaps you could become a UI designer, but again, there's going to be a lot of things to consider there too. So I'm curious to know what you guys think. Do you guys agree? Maybe you're a UX designer with a couple years experience. I'd like to know what you think. And I think it would also help other people that are making that decision to jump into UX design or not. Well, these are just considerations. Hopefully you make the decision for yourself that works well. And until next time, peace out, guys.